Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone watching. Today we'll be looking at the scariest jump scares in horror movies. Jump scares are often a very cheap way of getting scares out of the audience. But sometimes when it's done right, by building up suspense or introducing fun ways of producing said scares, then it becomes a memorably good scare. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. You're not going to see The Conjuring or Insidious on this list because I feel like that's a bit played out at this point. Also, if you have like 20 jump scares in a movie, then eventually one of them is going to be really good. But before we fully jump in, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, it's good to see you again. Alright, let's get into it. Talk to Me, The First Possession. Talk to Me from 2020, directed by good old Michael and Danny.
Jesus, Ronald! Do that again, I'm gonna have to call the police!
Is a horror mystery following a group of friends who party hardy with an embalmed hand. Always a fun thing to bring to a party. But that hand has the power to talk to the dead. The group become mesmerized by the hand, seemingly like it's a drug. But unfortunately, just like drugs, the hand has an ulterior motive of malevolence. The movie was a splash in the horror genre, specifically the possession subgenre, as it does everything you've seen in a possession film, but it does it extremely well, while also adding the fresh, crisp look of the cinema that the 2020s has evolved to. And frankly, it's just a fun watch, as the cast does a very good job at playing charismatic characters who feel like a real friend group, and that carries the movie throughout the bits of not having any scares. But once the scares do show up,
talk to me. Talk to me.
it is a slap in your face in a comfortable environment. The overshadow of dread that was felt throughout the movie, leading up to the point of actually using the embalmed hand, finally pays off by showing that, yeah, this is real.
Talk to me.
And I like how in this scene it automatically shows everyone in the group like this isn't fake. Because you might think that all the characters have to go through the hand and talk to it, and to let them in to realize that this is not good. No, they all believe that this has ghostly, real powers that are violent because of Mia. Now while jump scares can of course be seen as cheap, I think the fright is highlighted because of the comfortable environment. This isn't checking out the attic by yourself when it's all dark, and then you move your flashlight and all of a sudden you see that. No, she's surrounded by friends, in a party setting, but that doesn't stop this dude from showing up. Granted, he was invited, so, no trespassing there. Same with this lovely lady. And the jump scare also perfectly sets up the film as well as the game. And personally, I really like how it's not a constant build-up and suspense, it's just boom, it's real. Because everyone was like joking around saying like, yeah, this isn't real. And why would you believe that a possession thing is real? It's like when your friends bring out an Ouija board that they bought from Target, and they're like, ghosts are real, and God's gonna get angry if we play this game. You bought this for 20 bucks. And in relation to the scenes that just build up suspense to a jump scare, once you start building up suspense to a jump scare, I feel like the audience can see the jump scare from a mile away. Here, Mia's just joking around, and then suddenly she's forced into this realm of the undead. If you haven't seen Talk to Me, it's such a fun horror movie. A very similar vibe to Smile in the filmography. So if you enjoyed the Smile movies, then you should check out the Talk to Me franchise. Shock. That ain't no kid.
Mama!
Shock from 1977, directed by Mario Bavo, is an Italian supernatural horror, following Dora. Her new boo thing, Bruno. I say new because Dora's ex-husband is dead, in the dirt, 6 feet under, never gonna be able to give a hug again. But Dora's ex-husband is kind of back, as he possesses Dora's son, Marco. And throughout the movie, we watch Dora slowly lose her sanity, as her old husband ramps up his supernatural meddlings. It's a weird movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great one either.
Oh, help! Help! Let me up!
But it has a lot of that 70s cheese you've seen in horror movies back then, but it's ramped up to like 11. It's also a very slow-paced movie, and there's also a very long scene of Dora having a wet dream. And for all the like horn dogs out there, it's literally just like a camera like this. Yeah, we're about to do it. It's like this, and then she's just like making TikTok thirst trap faces.
You'll fluff it even if you have none.
But it goes on for like minutes. Like I get it, her old possessed demon husband is currently railing her in a dream. Love is in the air. I can smell it. And it don't smell good. With all that semi-negativity out of the way, I can never say this movie felt boring. Like, it's not an in-your-face possession story, rather a calm, unwinding ghost one. But the highlight of this movie was this amazing and simple shot of Dora's son in a hallway, running towards her, screaming mommy, and then all of a sudden, that's a man. When I saw this scene on TikTok, I instantly was hooked. I sought out the movie, which is on YouTube for free, and I'd have to say I enjoyed the little over an hour that I spent watching it. Especially this scene. It's so simple, yet so effective. Caveat from director Damian McCarthy, who's a newer, extremely talented horror director. Came out in 2020, that great year. This psychological horror shines with its atmosphere more than anything else. The movie follows a man suffering from memory loss, as well as scarceness in his jobs, until he gets one to look over a troubled woman in an isolated home, which is a job he soon regrets taking. Not only because Olga here is kinda crazy and trying to kill him, but once Isaac tries to get away from Olga, he meets Olga's mom. And everyone say hi to Olga's mom. The movie is a great stylistic horror that really plays into the scares well. What I mean by that is it doesn't always scare the audience when the audience thinks it's going to happen. It gives great red herrings throughout, and when it does deliver the scares, it's impactful. For example, when you first get introduced to Olga's mom, you see her over here. Most of the audience are like, I don't think she's dead, like at all. But eventually the movie stays on her enough where the audience feels some level of comfort. It's not to the point where you'd sit next to her and share some tea, but it's enough where it's like, alright, I'm okay with looking at this. I don't have to cover my face like this. Not saying I do, because I'm not a bitch. But once you settle with something unsettling, the movie throws a scene like this at you. What's so great about this jump scare is that we saw her before, and she had so much opportunity to give us another jump scare beforehand. There's a scene where Isaac just sticks his hand through a glory hole, which you should not do, and he has to like grab a key from Olga's mother, so we already see Olga's mother, and we're expecting her to do something, but she doesn't. She just sits there docile. This isn't docile. Nah, she waited to do that. And the trope of someone peeping at you and then ducking in some sort of crawl space or an attic, yeah, it's played out. It's a trope for a reason. But when tropes are done well, you should admire them. And I think it's done really well here. And I mentioned it earlier with the atmosphere, but Isaac is stuck in a claustrophobic environment, and he has no way out. It's either dealing with whatever that is going to be, or with Olga, who's trying to kill him. I kind of jumped forward in the movie after like Olga and Isaac had a little bit of a falling out. I don't know if you could tell, because, you know, you don't usually just start to try to kill someone, unless you do. But that kind of mirrors the movie, as the movie itself focuses more on stylistic points, rather than the story or characters. It's not a bad thing or anything, but the movie kind of felt hollow, especially with the ending. I was not a fan of it. If you've seen Caveat, then let me know what you think about it. Hereditary. Cluck noises. 2018's horror mystery, Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster, is one of the bigger hits in horror and just in movies in recent times. It follows the Graham family, who faces odd happenings ever since their grandmother's death, culminating in violence against the family, until they ultimately realize that there are higher powers advanced by humans who have control over them. It is a slow burn of a horror movie, but once it ramps up, it does not let off the gas pedal. With one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie, let alone horror, with Toni Collette, who plays the grief-stricken Annie.
Your sister is dead, but you can't take responsibility for anything!
All while having haunting scares that pay off in a grotesque way. And one of the best way Hereditary scares the audience is with its sound design, which is always important to be mindful of, especially in horror. I mean, half the time, great scares are built up mainly because of the music or sound design. Even more, I think, are fumbled because of the sound design, because so many are just like loud noise. Are you scared yet? Like, that's not fair if you just yelled at me and scare me, because yeah, why are you yelling? But in Hereditary, it builds off the fact that Charlie over here makes little clucking noises throughout the film.
That was your opinion, and you were...
The problem is, well, there's a couple problems, because one, it's just annoying. Ask her brother. But two, and more importantly, it's utterly horrifying if she's not there with you. And by not there, I mean she's dead. Do you ever hear your dead relatives speak to you? I do. I think the scene that scared me most using the clucking noises was when Annie was in her car alone, kind of like losing her shit, and then all of a sudden just... And from this point on, anytime you hear the cluck in the movie, it represents something completely different from the innocent Charlie. You hear a cluck back then, it's like Charlie's around. You hear a cluck now, you're about to die. A lot of people say Hereditary is overrated, and I don't agree with that. I think it's one of the better horror movies of the 21st century, as I merely focused on the sound design. I didn't talk about the story that dives into grief and trauma, all while including intriguing ways of illustrating impending doom, only for it to have a great payoff that I didn't see coming, and most audience members didn't see coming. I thought it was a clear hit for the horror genre. I'm also very fond of Ari Aster. Not so much of Beau is Afraid, but, you know. Art. Alright, that's enough talking for today. If you enjoyed my picks or any of my yapping, then leaving a like really helps out. If you have any other picks for jump scares that actually earned the scare and was terrifying, then let me know down below. I find it kind of hard to make these videos because I don't want to do just like basic jump scares that are scary, but they just don't feel earned, which is a lot of them. So if you have any picks within that realm, I'd love to see it. And if you love this video, then think about subscribing before you head out. I have more videos that talk about other jump scares, so if you'd like to see that and more picks that I found actually scary, and of course earned, then they should be here at the end. Alright, I'll see you next week. Bye.